for Math 8, we are looking at our new unit, which is algebra, and our first topic is solving type 1 equations. Okay, so type 1 equations, that basically means we are just going to be having to do one step to solve these equations. So type 1, one step, and we just use the opposite operation. Use the opposite operation to solve for the variable. And you may recall that the variable is the letter that is used in an equation. All right, so the letter that you're solving for, so it could be X, it could be Y, it could be any letter of the alphabet, but in algebra, it is usually X and Y's that are used. So the examples we'll look at today are just going to use the variable X. Don't get it confused with X as the multiplication symbol, because when we're in algebra, usually brackets are used for multiplication, or a number and variable are placed together to represent multiplication. So let's take a look at our first example. We'll look at type 1 addition. So if we had something like this, x plus 6 is equal to 8. We need to solve for x. So doing the opposite operation of plus 6, okay, positive 6 or plus 6, the opposite of that is to subtract 6. And recall that our equations are always represented as our left-hand side of the equal sign and the right-hand side of the equal sign. So anytime you are doing the opposite operation, you have to do it to both sides. All right, so we're going to subtract 6 on both sides, like that. And then I just draw a line here to start the next step. So here, 6 minus 6, that just cancels each other out. And we're just left with x on the left-hand side. So x is equal to, and then 8 minus 6 on the right-hand side, which is equal to 2. And you can easily do a check. So our answer is x is equal to 2. You could easily do a check by substituting 2 in for x. All right, so if we do our left-hand side, we're going to put 2 in for x. So 2 plus 6 is equal to 8. This is our left-hand side and our right-hand side. So 2 plus 6 does equal to 8. On the left-hand side, our right-hand side is also equal to 8. So therefore, it is done correctly. All right, so that was a quick review of type 1 addition. Let's try the next one, a type 1 subtraction. And it is important that we are following these steps, because as these problems become more complex, it is very important that we are showing our steps when solving for the variable. Because we know here already what number subtracted by 8 will give us 4. Well, we know it's going to be 12 minus 8. That's going to give me 4. Even here, we know 2 plus 6 will give me 8. But it is important to start showing your steps, because the problems do become more complex, where you have to show 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 steps. So here we're looking at x minus 8 is equal to 4. So minus 8, same thing as negative 8. This symbol, this minus, is connected with the 8, right? It's a negative 8 or minus 8. So we have to do the opposite of subtracting, all right? So we have to add 8 to both sides of the equal sign. So again, I'm just going to show that like this for the first few lessons. Since we're just beginning here, we have to do it to both sides. So we've added 8 to both sides. And I just draw this line here to show the next step. So negative 8 plus 8, that's just 0. So on the left-hand side, we are left with x, and our right-hand side, we have 12. Again, you can do your check. Do a check by substituting the 12 into x. So 12 minus 8 has to equal to 4. The left-hand side, 12 minus 8, it does equal to 4. And it matches our right-hand side, which is also equal to 4. So therefore, we have done that correctly. And we just have to look at multiplication and division next. So the opposite of multiplication is division. All right, so let's take a look at this example. We have 5x is equal to negative 35, and it's 5 multiplied by x. So anytime you see it written like this, it means multiplication. So 5x, that means 5 times x. And we are going to do the opposite of multiplying, which is dividing. So we have to divide 5 on both sides to isolate our x. 5 divided by 5, 5 divided by 5 is 1. So we're left with 1x, but we don't have to write the 1 because we know there is 1x. So we can just write x like this. And then negative 35 divided by 5 is negative 7. And let's do a quick check for that as well. Check, we are going to replace our x with negative 7, substitution. So 5 times negative 7 has to equal to negative 35. So on the left-hand side, 5 times negative 7, it is negative 35. It does equal to our right-hand side. So that is correct. All right, and then our last equation, or last type 1 we're looking at is division. So when we have division, the opposite of division is multiplication. So our example is we have x divided by 3 is equal to negative 8. So the opposite of division here, we're going to use multiplication. So just show it like this. I just show it in brackets and show that I'm multiplying by 3. And same thing like here, multiplying by 3. So this becomes 3x divided by 3. So 3x divided by 3, you're just left with 1x, or x. And then on our right-hand side, negative 8 times 3, that gives me negative 24. All right, let's do our check on this side. And we're going to substitute negative 24 for x. So that was our original equation. And left-hand side has to equal to the right-hand side. So negative 24 divided by 3 is equal to negative 8, which equals our right-hand side. So it is done correctly. All right, so those are the 4 type 1 equations. Again, when you're solving for x, you are doing the opposite operation, and whatever you do to your left-hand side of the equation, you have to make sure you do to the right-hand side of your equation.